So what inspired you to become a journalist?
So in high school, I knew that I loved writing. Like I've always loved writing ever since I was little. And I was starting to think like, okay, what kind of career can I have? Like, how can I make money doing what I like? And I felt that like banking on being the next big novelist wasn't too smart, it's kind of risky. And so when I got into college, my parents kind of encouraged me to like look into the school paper. And I was so nervous the first time that I like went to the door. I was gonna like go ask to be a writer, and I like went to the door, and I'm like 18 years old and like just standing there freaked out, and one of the editors comes by and he's like, "Is it locked?" And I was like, "No, I'm just scared." I didn't say that, but I was just like, "No." And he like went in, and I like looked in, and I was too scared. Like that day I did not go in and ask. And then like the next day I went back, and they were like, "Yes, we need writers, come on," and like just gave me a job like immediately. And then once I started spending time in the Echo office, I was like, I think these are my people. Like, these people like the same things that I'm interested in. And, like, I kind of was just hooked from the beginning, starting at the Echo. Probably my most interesting story that I've ever covered in my career was, like, a murder trial. It was when I worked at the Times Free Press. I got out of school. It was a North Georgia policeman named Sam Parker, and he was accused of murdering his wife, who was a 911 dispatcher in the same place that he was a cop. And so they were well known in this small North Georgia community. And at first, the woman, Teresa, was just missing. So my editor was like, "Hey, there's a woman missing. Go down and cover this press conference." And then it like turned into, it's like missing person. Then it turned into kind of murder investigation. And over the course of like 2 years, they went from like not knowing where she was to charging him with murder. And then I was covering the court case, and he was ultimately convicted of murder. And it just taught me a lot as far as asking really touchy questions. You have to talk to people who either their loved one has been accused of murder or their loved one is missing or dead, and that's really hard to do, but that's part of your job. So you kind of have to learn how to be straightforward but also polite and empathetic, and it's kind of a hard balance, but that was a big one, and it taught me a lot.
So do you like Nougat today? Like, do you like working there?
Oh yeah, it's awesome. Nougat Today bought Nougat.com about a year ago, and so I had worked for Nougat.com for it's 8 years that it's alive, and that was a really, really great experience. But it was kind of coming to a natural end, and so the purchase by 6 AM City to turn us into Nougat Today was kind of like a extension of our product being the product changed. But it kind of gave us a second life, and I think it's a really good service for the city, and I'm hoping more people are starting to know about it now, as opposed to being confused what happened to Nougat.com and what's Nougat Today. A lot of times for news, too, you kind of don't know what's going to happen until it happens. So what's always fun is for example, this time last week, it was Sunday night, and we had the story for the next day all ready to go, and then the owner of several restaurants texted me and said, like, "Hey, the food hall on the south side's opening tomorrow morning. I'm telling you, like, feel free to spread the word." And I was like, oh man. So I like rewrote the whole article, and for some people that might be a bummer, like, oh gosh, I thought I was done working on Sunday, but here I am working. But like, for me, that's an exciting thing. Like, oh, I get to share this news. So I got to, I scrapped one story, wrote the next one, and then like the next day had the news that the food hall was open, and then I went there and saw everybody eating there. So like something that's kind of small, but like those are the little stories and moments that I really like, the unexpected kind of stuff. I would say the main thing is you need to be curious, and you need to be kind of enthusiastic. If you're not curious about everything or what you're writing about, it's not going to be really fun. Even if you think you're shy or introverted or don't like talking to people, but you like writing, you could still be a journalist. You just have to kind of practice it.